Hello and welcome! Silrace here with some world-old tankies. And this is the steel Juggernaut, the IS-3. It is still a very good machine, it is stable on tournaments and whatnot. And frankly, I kinda enjoy playing it still. Even though there are no, let's say, bigger threats to the IS-3 when you hit up matchups like this. This is tier 10 matchup. Things like T-57 heavies obliterate this tank, things like the new Waffle Tractor E100 absolutely just demolish this thing. That wasn't the case quite a long time ago when those tanks still didn't exist and IS-3 was much more, well, capable. It is still a very capable machine though. And as you can see, I am coming to the north. I know there will be heavy tanks here. I mean, all you have to do is look at the minimap right now because of XVM. I know there is an E5 and IS-4 coming this way. I'm poking up here to maybe get early spots on them once they start poking up here. And maybe get a side shot on something. T-57 heavy tunnel visioning to the side and rams into my rear, so I'm gonna pull back from here. I mean, if he wants this position, he can have it. T-57 is a, let's just say, a really strong tank. So he can do that stuff. I still think he's tunnel visioning a little too harshly, but why not? And I have IS-8 and okay, there we go. Enemies are finally coming in. Now, if you take a look at the gameplay here from me, I'm just pulling back already. Because IS-3 has a bit of a gun depression problem, as does the IS-4 on the enemy team. So I'm gonna use this rock here to cover some of my hull and force them to crest the ridge to shoot at me. There is Jagdpanzer E100 at the rear to help us out as well. And see? The IS-4 cannot shoot at me. The E5 has gun depression to do this business, but the IS-4 does not. And we can track the IS-4? Yep, tracked. Anyway. Helping kill tier 10s on the enemy team, or essentially what tier you happen to be playing. That was nice, we managed to actually do damage to the IS-4 too. Let's say you are playing tier 5 and you are in tier 7 matchup. The same thing is what you should be doing, essentially. You should be helping to deal with the tier 7s, not necessarily tier 5s. Why? Because frankly, let's just say that this game goes really close. We lose all of our tier 10s, and I am out of here as soon as I saw that object. It was like, no way I'm gonna freaking face tank that thing. I am out of here. But anyway, to continue my point. Let's say we lose all tier 10s, and the enemy team loses all their tier 8s. So then I would have to face, let's say, an T-57 heavy, or an IS-4, or an IS-7 in an IS-3. That is a losing proposition. However, if I'm up here helping destroy all those tier 10s, so that if we lose tier 10s on both sides and I'm suddenly facing an IS-3 or T-34, that is a matchup I might be actually able to win. Whereas in the tier 10s, not quite likely. The same thing goes pretty much across the tires. Let's just say you are playing a tier 5 machine and you are in a tier 7 game and you suddenly end up in a situation where you have to 1v1 a tier 7 tank. You are probably in a disadvantage. Very likely so, unless they are like basically one-hit kills at that point, but typically you are in a disadvantage. So you should take care of the most threatening targets first, and that's where positioning comes into play. As you can see, I have taken no damage yet, whatsoever. I've never been in a situation where essentially they could have tried to shoot me, but there were more threatening targets for them to shoot, such as the T-57 Heavy, or the Jagdpanzer E100, things like that. And yet I have done 700 damage to an IS-4. That's not a lot of damage, but it is to a tier 10 very heavily armored tank, and this guy is really tunnel visioning harshly. I mean, I'm sewn up on the minimap and that shot takes down the building and is still not looking at me. So if you stay there and you don't tunnel vision, well, and you don't tunnel vision like this, yeah, then I'm gonna take that kill and thank you very much for playing. But this is a good example. Artillery fires at a tier 8 target in a tier 10 matchup. I will never understand that point. It's like, yeah, I am fairly sure he had in view both the Jagdpanzer E100 and the T-57 Heavy. Maybe not the T-57 Heavy, but definitely the Jagdpanzer. Might do less damage to the Jagdpanzer than you would do to an IS-3. But really, which one would you rather face towards the end of the day? An IS-3 or, let's say, a Jagdpanzer E100? And this T-57 Heavy is also tunnel visioning rather harshly. It's like he looked at this, looked this way. And well, I pulled back firstly after missing the thing, but come on. Suddenly, I have dealt 1300 damage, well, nearly. And all of that has been to tier 10 tanks, and I have destroyed 2 of them. And suddenly there is only 1 tier 10 left on the enemy team. Now, I haven't even done my own hit points in damage in this particular game. But if you look at that, there are 4 tier, well, let's say 4 tanks less than tier 9 on our team. I'm one of those. And all of the damage is on tier 10 targets. Now I don't know where this IS-7 is, so I am content on just waiting here for a bit. See what happens. T-54 is making a hero run to the artilleries and gets blown up. Suddenly the game gets much more close, right? Obviously T-57 Heavy and Jagdpanzer E100 I believe is still entirely undamaged. Well, the Jagdpanzer is, the T-57 Heavy took some damage, but still, I mean, it's much closer. And there is an IS-7. IS-7 is not something you wanna face head on in an IS-3. It's basically IS-3's big brother after all. Massive armor, even with premium rounds you have a hard time penetrating that, and so on. But in this kind of a situation there is a Foch or Foch 155 still facing the IS-7. There is our IS-7 and there is me. And I'm not gonna go to the front. I am not that silly. I mean, I could have gone where the IS-7 was. Our IS-7 that is. But he's coming this way because he just lost almost all of his HP. So I'm gonna go around, huh? See if I can get a flank shot. The Force is losing health, but so is the IS-7. So stop here, just a sec. See if I can get a shot. No shot. Let's go around this hill. Try from another angle. This is the whole positioning business. Don't expose yourself to all the fire if you can avoid it. Anyway. That could have been a snapshot. Didn't work. Is he really coming around the corner? I'll take that. So, moving on to another replay of the Steel Juggernaut, the IS-3, on Pearl River, in case you are not familiar with the names of the maps, in another tier 10 matchup. T-57 Heavy on the enemy team, IS-7, T-110E5, I mean there are a couple tier 8s on both teams, and a scout, but also 3 artillery pieces on the enemy team. And frankly, I'm going north, because there is no that way to go through the middle of the map. And that is nothing but a massive bottleneck for the artilleries to rain death on, so I personally try to avoid it like a plague. I go north or south, typically when I play this particular map, and I don't know if this scout is just YOLO charging into the IS-8, so I'm gonna wait a little, but once the Waffle Tractor is pushing forward, then I'm very much willing to go as well. Because it's an IS-8, it's not necessarily a machine I want to face alone in an IS-3, He's probably gonna lose that matchup. So poke the middle here, stop just long enough to make sure there is no one back there, because the IS-3 turret is kinda sturdy from the front, so I was pretty well hull down there. And hello, would you like a shot into the faceplate? Have fun with that. And the waffle tractor finishes that off. So I pull back, right? Pull back behind this corner, into this shade here. Firstly, to avoid anyone who might be poking around the building, and secondly, to avoid artillery fire. Right, so Waffle Tractor wants to push into the rear of these guys in the middle, and I don't blame him. That seems like a reasonable idea, and I'm willing to go after him. To hate him with that business. But then there is Object 432, and that makes me hesitate, because if I want to get in the rear of the enemies in the middle, I am in the line of fire of this guy. And that just doesn't seem like a good idea. So, it is time to start pulling back. Especially since, if you look at the minimap, there is only a T-34 alive to face all the guys in the middle. So back to base it is. And right now, I don't know which way this Object 432 is going, so I am a little afraid that he's just gonna appear in my rear right about now into the side and start shooting us to pieces. Maybe he's afraid of the Waffle Tractor, but being a little too afraid of him, I decide to drive into the hillside, because that obviously seems like a brilliant idea. I mean, everyone makes the occasional random mistake and whatnot. It's just funny to watch it backwards. It's like, okay, I really shouldn't have done that. So here is a possible big mistake. I decided to go around and not go after the Waffle Tractor, because there is a Borsig about to be at the edges of our base, and well, there's a T-71 as well. The Waffle Tractor ends up in a 1v1 versus T-69. If I had been there with the Waffle Tractor, I probably would have... Well, the Waffle Tractor wouldn't have lost so much health fighting the T-69, because I could have put in a shot as well. However, this T-69 is taken out of the game, but then appears the object and takes out the Waffle Tractor. So now I'm kinda happy I didn't go up there, but that is a big possible change to the play here. And I am a little afraid of what is coming through the middle here, so I didn't see this Borsig, and I missed that opportunity to destroy it, unfortunately. However, now I know where that Borsig is. It's still at the edges there, and it is time to start turning around. Because I know where the Borsig is. It can't come across the field without getting shot by the Jagdpanzer 300. But it's time to turn around to face the Object 430, and this is where mistakes were made. I poke up just that too far, like this. I gave him too much of my side, but at least he shot. So that allowed me to, line up my own shot to his side, which he decided to give me in response, which is quite nice of him. So there has been over 5 minutes played of this particular game, and this guy does not have any patience. I don't know what that was all about. That's like, patience is a virtue. This guy didn't have it, and here I poke a little too far again, and I bounce off his turret, gave him a free shot at me, unfortunately. Did you just see that flash? Because I didn't when I was playing this game. I only saw it the first time when I watched this replay. Because if you saw the flash on the T-57 Heavy Corps, you would know where the artillery is. Right now I have no clue. Which is why I'm backing up here a bit to, check the middle. Because I don't know where the artilleries are, and I don't know where that Waffle Panzer 4 has gone. If it's coming through the middle, it might be in my rear. So I'm double checking this rear here. Well, other than the lots of corpses, see no one. Alright. It's time to push back into the cover that T-57 7 heavy provided me with, but there is that thing. Put a shot into it and then hide from it. So yeah. 5 minutes in, well, over 5 minutes into the game, and I had done less than 1000 damage. Suddenly, about 2 minutes later, I have done triple that. And now I know where the artillery is, because it just splashed me. And thankfully this Object 432 is being worked on by the rest of the team, so now I can turn to face the Waffle Panzer. And do it from an angle which is not like backing up and giving him my rear, instead just expose my turret. Now if you take a look at all the damage done by me in this game, every target I have shot has been either tier 9 or tier 10 again. And I am the only living tier 8 on my team. That is kind of funny, huh? Funny how that works out. Anyway, it's basically an artillery hunt from here. I mean, IS-3 with very little health, I mean, I would be one-shotted by any of those artilleries. Jagdpanzer E100 and an artillery piece. This is nothing but an artillery hunt, which usually tends to drag out quite a bit when you are being careful of it. So I can talk about some other things in meanwhile. First thing is to notice that in a situation like this, you never want to charge in alone. The Jagdpanzer does tell me in a little bit to, you know, that it's gonna take him a while to get in the position. And I acknowledge it. Of course it's gonna take him a while. It's 6 minutes left in this game. I am not in a rush. At least I'm not in a rush to die. Don't see a reason to throw the game away at this point. The thing though is to have patience when you play. See, there is that acknowledgement of, you know, it will take a while. Yeah, of course it will take a while. You are in a Jagdpanzer E100. Sure. And I'm content on waiting on you to get into position, which I am typing out here. Right. So, the safe choice in situations like this is to start capping. Force the artilleries to come to you or just lose. And that is essentially what is on my mind anyway. And the Jagdpanzer E100 is coming through the middle. That means that gives me a little bit of time to do some extra maneuvering, like go through here. Because this is a very nice artillery cover. So I am waiting behind this rock. I know I haven't been spotted, I have 6th sense, which is an overpowered skill, which should, in my honest opinion, be removed from the game. Anyway, let's not delve into that too much, and let's just wait a little. I mean, full health Jagdpanzer E100. Given time, he can solo these artilleries. Especially if I can spot a little from him. So I'm now poking out because he's almost in position. I didn't expect to see anyone by poking that much. So it is time to go and find the artillery. A tiny little lag spike there for some reason. Thankfully there is not a lot of them going on, huh? So base. Base is my target at this point. And I am gonna keep this incline here on my left, because if you are on a downslope, it is much harder for the artillery to hit you than if you are cresting on top of a ridge or some such. So I'm fairly sure there is at least one artillery to the front of me behind these buildings. There is always an artillery there. It's like really easy to guess. So I'm gonna take the scenic route here through the village. Because why the F not? And one of the main things also when you are doing artillery hunt like this, do not knock down trees. Try to avoid it at all costs. Do not destroy buildings. Do not do things, silly things like that which give away your position and where you are heading. I'm a little surprised I didn't spot the artillery from here. So I'm still fairly sure there is an artillery there, but I just didn't spot it, and now I am in the base. Okay. Haha, that is the first one. That is the Tier 7 artillery piece, and it is now gone. Now I'm driving straight forward, and that exposes the other artillery piece. Okay. You stay there, wait for me. And that's your fire extinguisher gun. Probably an automatic one. Now take a look at this display when you are in the cap circle. This is very basic stuff. I take a punt at the building just to see if I can knock it down further. Then wait until I am, gone from being spotted. And change location in the cap circle. So you can just pre-aim and fire where I was. And finish me off. I mean, very basic positional things you need to, well, give some thought to when you are playing. And now as he isn't spotted, it's time for me to start taking down this building. And keep moving. And so on. And our artillery finishes off the other artillery, and this guy actually shot out towards our artillery. So, yeah. Thank you very much for watching. This game is pretty much wrapped up at this point, and hopefully you learned something, hopefully you had fun watching this Steel Juggernaut in action.